Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Market Mamas. I'm Becky, and here with my girl Kendra, and we have a special guest today. We are Market Mamas, and so the whole purpose of Market Mamas is to just like talk about the experience of trading from beginner all the way through, and like what you experience and how you've learned and how you've grown and how it shifted your journey. So Amanda actually found us through YouTube, through one of our videos, and so we started chatting, and she had really good questions. So we're like, can you ask us? Can we talk about this in a little bit more of a formal setting so we can share it? Because it was such a good dialogue that we felt like there was gems that we should share. So welcome so much, Amanda. We're really glad you're here.
Yeah. I love that. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, actually. Side note, you can cut that part out. I think he said, if you're not driven by a vision of the future, you're going to be tied to the past. So I have listened to him on repeat. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza.
He's amazing.
Great. I do his meditation every single morning, actually, by the way. But
good job.
Yeah, phenomenal. I love that. I love that you guys are marrying the I don't know, the more, I guess this is just a woman thing. It's just the intuitive energy vibe with the whole masculine side of day trading. Because day trading does have that masculine feel to it. I guess it is. I think it's 90% male. Isn't that right? Or...
It's definitely a higher percentage. I think it's closer to like 80 at this point, but it's way more than average.
Yeah. And I love this. I love this so much. Please cut this out. That's, or maybe not, but
we're not cutting anything out.
That's fair. Okay. I hear the quote a lot. Trade the market you're in, not the one you want to be in. Are either of you able to sit down with the expectation to trade, but walk away without trading if the market conditions aren't what you're looking for? Or do you have any trade days that are blank where I didn't trade, I walked away? I feel like that's my only goal at this point. I'm like, if I can have the strength to not do it, then I'm good.
I have, but does that give me a sense of confidence or certainty that I'll be able to do it on another day? No. I mean, I'm just trying to approach every day with, I'm going to try to be 1% better. I'm going to try to overcome, demons. I'm going to try to be neutral. I'm going to try to play my best game. I deserve to play my best game. So when I can do that, hey, that's amazing. But
honestly, I don't even know why I'm asking that question now that I think about it, because I think there's like some sort of mental thing in my mind where that is like the ultimate discipline or something, where I can see something and not do, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if you guys can always see something to trade, then why not? Or
it's a good question. No, it is. Yeah. I love it. And it's like, there's a strength and maturity to being able to approach your day in that way of being like, I know what my top 3 setups look like. And when I can see them setting up, I'm excited to trade. I know what kind of leverage I want to put on. I know how this risk is managed. But if the market is giving you like mixed signals and it's not setting up for one of your favorite setups, there is a maturity that we both strive for, to just not engage, to just walk away, maybe check back in an hour and see if it has set up in a different way, something that you understand and feel more positive about. But I don't think that is as easy as it sounds, especially the first couple of years, because for me, when I show up to my office and I open my trading platform that I execute on, that almost means 100% I'm going to trade. And I know I'm not saying that like with pride. It's like something that I'm working on, because I can find a setup every day. And the issue is like, is it an A+ setup or is it a B-? And you're gonna, that you're like testing the waters and you don't feel as confident with it. And you're going to be uncomfortable managing it, because it's almost like let's just see what happens, instead of I really like the hold on this demand level and I want to take it up. And so I think that I think that's just a work in progress over time, but that is a goal to reach as an experienced trader, to be able to have the discipline to only execute on your best setups, because that it's your money, it's your outcome, it's your paycheck when you are, swinging at your best pitches. So that's definitely something I work on. But I can say, I think with full conviction that I have never opened my chart during New York session and not traded once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, as soon as the market opens, it's moving. It's always moving. And there's always going to be something we can find if we're trade hunting. But as Becky said, and I think it's from Daily Trading Coach, our job is to, wait and swing at our best pitch. However, I will say go into like, give yourself some grace, Amanda, because like literally not being able to do this is how we learn. Mm-hmm. Because how else are you going to learn the conditions you should not be entertaining if you're not in them and, you know, getting your ass handed to you, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
A critical part of your journey is to, I mean, it's not like there's just this perfect where I'm just going to sit here perfectly. I'm only going to take best trades. And this is just like, no, that is not at all feasible, reasonable, or the goal here. Like you got to just be willing to know that you're going to suck for a long time.
And that's how you learn what an A setup is and a C setup is by executing and be like, well, that friggin' sucked. So, yeah. And then execute and be like, I did that last weekend at work and I did this weekend at work, to be like, I'm starting to see this more clearly. You know, that's how you refine what a good setup is and isn't, is by actually executing.
And there's always, I talk about it being a puzzle, many moving parts. When you're learning, as we all are, you know, there's different performance flaws that you start to recognize and understand, and you start to study and try to break down. And I did this today, and then there's carryover. So maybe the next day you have that in the back of your mind, and then so you perform it differently the way you wanted to perform yesterday. But now you're in a whole different condition. Like market repeats itself, but it's still different. Like conditions are different. Each day is different. So just that in and of itself, learning, okay, we have this tool belt, right? All these things, but which tool do I need to pull out this day? Like not every tool is for every job. So it's so many different factors and things to consider when you're in front of your chart. So that only comes with time and experience and messing up.
Makes sense. Thank you. Okay, if you could start all over, how would your approach be different? If anything, I don't know. You are who you are because of it. So I don't know. Every time I ask you a question, I'm like, I don't know, but I don't know. You are who you are because you experienced what you did. But if you could do anything technically different, what would that be?
I think I would have moderated out a little bit in the beginning, because I took some really hard losses earlier that like rocked me. Like I had a baby during trading. I have a 2-year-old right now. And there was one time when I was like 8 weeks pregnant and I lost like $1,300 on a crude oil trade. And I lost my damn mind. I was so upset. I cried and cried and cried. And it was like, like what the hell was I doing with the capability to lose that much money, of personal money? You know, like I had so many irons in the fire that I wish in hindsight I could have lost less real money, and I feel like still taken some good lessons. And so in that respect, I think, you know, when we first started trading a little over 3 years ago, funded accounts were not what they were now. They were not as relevant. Not a lot of people talked about them. Our community that we were taught the basics in did not advise them or even know about them, I think. I don't know. But anyways, now they are a thing, and they actually really are protective of your personal capital, because you buy account for $30 or, you know, variations to that. And then they hold the risk for you. And if you successfully win and you have a proven strategy, then you just pay another fee when you get performance, and then you get to keep your profits. And so I think that is so much more protective of earlier traders, and even us in the messy middle traders. It's really protective of our personal finances. Kendra and I are both parents, as I believe you are too, Amanda. Mm-hmm. And so we have to hold down our lives. Like Kendra said, like we have to adult besides trading. And so if we're a messy teenager in our trading, but we have to adult over here, you have to manage your finances in a way that is sustainable to even stay in this game to learn. So I think that as a new trader now, I would do something like that to have a little bit less of a financial implication to my bottom line while I'm learning. And I think funded accounts is one way that I have appreciated that since I started trading them, because it gives me just a little bit more financial protection while I'm really dialing it in. And you do get payouts. I mean, I've had multiple payouts from Apex, and it's like that is a proven system to be more protective. And that, I think that would have helped.
You said a funded account?
Yeah, we have a couple episodes on them, and we trade with Apex Trader Funding, but it's basically you can partner with them and purchase accounts with them, and then they hold the leverage and they pay you out when you've proven you're a successful trader. So once you get an edge and you leave Sim, you're ready to leave Sim, that is an opportunity that you can kind of learn more about. And we can answer your questions, you know, separately someday about that too, if you have more. But it's a way to basically, you don't have to have a $20,000 account that you fund with your personal money. You can purchase accounts through them and then build those accounts up. And then you just work within their rules of their platform in order to get paid. So it's a cool opportunity.
I don't want to get you guys out too off course with those questions, but Okay, let me get back into it really quick because I know you guys.
Kendra had something she would do differently when you started trading. What do you think, Kendra?
Oh goodness. Seeking out safety in a very risky business that I entered, maybe I just wasn't as, I think, because I like to micromanage things. I'm very much, I need control and security in my life. So I think that, our Jermaine talked about how needing to make sure that the father in him wasn't showing up at the charts, right? So I think for me, I didn't realize that the person seeking security and safety and I guess being responsible or whatever was showing up, and but not in a way that wasn't allowing me to actually play, full out and respect and honor, this amazing skill set that I had built, this amazing woman that had shown up day after day and, stood out, and just, went after this, so I would just say, I wish that I could have, understood psychological hurdles sooner than I needed to uncover and, go to work on. I think I was more, always about creating systems for myself. But like your system's only as good as the person running it, So even when I would create the systems for myself, a lot of times all my fears and everything, they were built into that system. So I would say trying to understand that it doesn't matter how good you are at creating systems or how disciplined you are, you have to fully embrace the risk. And I think me trying to eliminate the risk in trading really held me back longer than maybe it needed to.
Yeah, I love that. I think I heard somebody say that they are just a really good loser and they're a good day trader. I love that.
We did a must-read episode on that book, Best Loser Wins, because it's so good. You have to be an excellent loser in order to be a profitable trader.
I love that. I love that mentality just in general. I mean, even if you dive into day trading and it's not even your thing, just the mentality that you take from it, I really, really love that. I really do. Yeah. Anyway, did you guys grow up learning about financial literacy, and how has your relationship changed with money since you started trading?
Oh gosh, I did not grow up with financial literacy. I grew up with, just working and getting paid and enough to have a home and buy your groceries, and the stock market and the finance industry was something that other people managed, and that wasn't for us to worry about. Like if you had a business that contributed to your 401k, that was going to be good, because in general the market goes up and that will help you when you're retirement age. And that was like it. And honestly, I didn't even want more than that for myself, because that seemed fine. That seemed like enough. And I had my niche of where I was expected. And then I went to college early for nursing. And so even that was a great career, which I love still. But I think that in falling into day trading, just kind of haphazardly having time in my life to start pursuing it and then falling in love with it, it opened up wide open this door, this world that I didn't know anything about. And I feel like I wasn't invited and no one taught me, and I didn't go to an Ivy League for a finance degree. But I feel like I sort of like snuck in the back door to this like cool ass like whiskey lounge. And I'm like, okay, I could live here. Teach me all the things. I'm here to stay. I want to know everything, because this is a life that actually is attainable, that I didn't realize before. And so now I just, once that I've like snuck in, like I'm not leaving. And so it's been a lot to learn coming from scratch, but it's worth it and it's doable. And you don't actually have to go to a college to learn it at this point. Like you can find a mentor in trading and you can learn a lot just by your own gumption and desire to figure it out.
Yeah. And it's very counterculture, and it's very, like Becky said, what's beautiful about trading is you don't have to come from a background of any financial literacy, wealth. I think that, like Becky, I did not grow up with money. Money was not a resource as much as a problem, is a lack of. And so naturally, as an adult, I kind of became a minimalist, and so, discount diva type thing, it's like, I never really prioritized like material things, still don't, but I do very much prioritize experience, and so clearly wealth gives you a greater experience, right? Be able the ability to create a greater experience, for my loved ones, and impact in the world. So, but accepting that, has been a challenge because of the fact that it is very counterculture, and we're surrounded by these other means of acquiring wealth and money, and trading is just not as common, for the people around us. Now that we're in this world, we see it's very much achievable, and it's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity that we're well on our way to doing, but it has affected not having that foundation and that example of it being done this way. Definitely, there had to be that change. There had to be that education. We kind of had to like fill this gap of like, okay, this is where I came from. This is where I want to go. And regardless of the current circumstances, right? The current environment we're in, there's a way through that to get to that. So it's been great. And I love that there is that factor, because I think for Becky and I, it just makes the story that much sweeter, right? That we can come from where we came from, and we're like audacious enough to have the goals that we have, and we're actually going for it unapologetically and just showing up for ourselves. It's like, why not? Like, why not us? So it's pretty cool.
Okay. I don't want to make a shift too much into the trauma side of it because we've already talked about it, but can you talk about when that happens? What is a very productive, healthy way to get through that? Especially for maybe people, maybe they might not have a community, maybe they are day trading themselves. What's a really healthy way to get through those traumatic moments? And please cut this part out, because I'm really wanting to clarify with you guys. Is the losing of the money the most traumatic part, or is it the psychological part of I didn't do well? Is it a combination of the two? I think when you guys are talking about those traumatic moments, I'm sort of kind of on the fence. Like, are you just I lost $1,500 today and that's incredibly traumatic because I didn't have that money to lose, or is it that I just feel you feel like you're not doing well at day trading? I guess that's yeah.
Yeah, I think this is actually a really good question to ask, because I think you have to have a way of approaching it, because you're going to have trauma if you choose day trading. And so you have to kind of anticipate that and have a plan in order to survive the trauma if you really want to do the damn thing. And so I think that trying to get people around you one way or another, like there are free communities if you are not in a position that you want to pay for a mentorship or a community that you buy into. But I think just not doing it in silence, because sure, there is a financial aspect of losing money, and that hurts, especially if don't ever trade with money that you need for bills. But everyone needs the money that they have earned from whatever other source that they have money. And so when you lose money, that hurts. But I think for me, even beyond the money is the emotional like letdown of like, I thought I was a successful trader and I entered that trade anticipating a win, or I ideally would not have entered that trade. And so in my mind, right before I clicked buy or sell, I was making money. And so that is almost like an emotional and a psychological blow when you take a loss. And especially if you move your stop, which is what I did that day, and take a deeper loss, it's like, what am I doing? Should I even be a day trader? Like, why am I giving this all of my time and energy? Can I ever figure this out? Like, sure, I lost money, but more I lost like, I don't know, belief in myself for a minute. And I think that is probably what stings the most. And if you live in that feeling, that is serious trauma to your whole psychology, your whole mindfulness about this approach in your life and what you're doing. And so you have to release that. And so tell someone, get outside, go for a walk, have a partner that you can communicate with. Like even on my big days or my losing days, if I am not at the hospital after I trade, then I always exercise after morning market trading session, because I feel like it pulls me out of my head and it puts me in my body and my muscles. And it's something that always feels good. It releases happy, exercise endorphins and dopamine. And it kind of normalizes like just neutralizing all the senses out, because living with trauma of trading will make it unsustainable and will impact other aspects of your life. I mean, no one wants to like hold a morning failed trade all day and snap at your kids and eat a bag of chips instead of exercise and drink a bottle of wine instead of having a salad at dinner. Like, there are choices that you can make that will make the depression potential worse, versus realizing that a losing day is teaching you and choosing to take the lesson and still infusing your life with healthy choices is what will make it sustainable. And so you have to kind of normalize that and know that there are going to be days where you may want to have wine for lunch instead of exercise. But if you want the true duration and the full potential, you have to hold it together. And it's easier said than done, but just, give yourself grace for that period. And like last summer, I think it was, where Kendra and I really started pivoting from the like really depressed when we lost to full fuck it mode. Like, I did lose this day, but this is what I learned, and I'm journaling out why I lost. And then I'm going to do something healthy that feels good. Like listen to a good book on a walk in my neighborhood. And we both had to figure out how to best manage that trauma. And it's been a game changer.
Yeah, it really has. And to go back to what you talked about is the money, it's what the money represents. So the trauma, the loss represents that we underperformed, and we underperformed less than we know our ability, is that, like, how far we've came, how much we've learned, how much we're capable of. And that is the most traumatizing, because it's disappointing ourselves, right? Especially when we underperformed for, it happens. But when we add on to that with the additional, we let the demons come out like full. And at that point, it's just self-sabotage. That is kind of the most traumatizing, because we're no longer coming at a place from everything we've worked up, everything we built up. And in terms of getting through, I think that there's been days when, okay, so first of all, like Becky and I always say this, shame thrives in isolation. So like, that is something that's very important. I mean, I've had days where I haven't wanted to talk to anyone. I've ignored, my trading partners, and just wanted to be toxic, wanted to be in a funk, wanted to feel bad for myself, and so that's the worst of it. However, when you're, you could pivot and turn the trauma around if you just keep an open dialogue about it. So that has been the best thing for us, is to be able to, talk through it and just get it out in the open as soon as possible. And then just try to make that pivot as much as possible. Like Becky said, channeling your energy into other things. I mean, I've had some of my best runs after trading trauma, some of my best exercise sessions after trading trauma. But the goal is to, obviously eliminate it as much as we can. And so it just takes time and a lot of maturity. But yeah, I think that it just stems from, it's not about the numbers on the screen. It's what they represent. And it's that we know we're better. We know we're better than who showed up and who clicked and did what they did. And so it just sucks, because it's so freaking easy, right? It's like, it's just so, I mean, there's no one over your shoulder, it's like we actually just did an interview, with this amazing mentor and day trader. And he struggled with it too, as great as he is. And he literally has a safeguard in place to cut him off from being able to use his application, like a Chrome extension or whatnot. So even people who are, like no one's immune to this. Like no one is immune to trading tilt and the trauma that can happen when you get in your emotions. So we're not robots, we are human. So it's just one of those things that if you can't control it, okay, well, what can I do? What can I put in place to, protect me from the worst parts of me, basically.
Well, and I don't know if this is an accurate number at all, and I could be way off, but I heard someone say, if you had a business, you would have expenses, you'd have utilities, the building, the lot, whatever, right? You'd have payroll. And so you have, 30 to 40% of your money coming in going to expenses, but we don't really have that same expectation with trading. I guess it's, if you're not taking in 100% of it, then, or if you're not paying any money. But I don't even know what level even 30 and 70% is. Like if you're trading at 70% of your trades are off the chart, you're probably killing it, right? That's probably, is that another level of day trader? I don't know what the numbers,
I mean, I
what
think
makes any sense.
any profitability is profit in your pocket with trading, because there is the operating expenses of a trading business is very low. You need a computer and internet and the fees for the platform. And that is really negligible considering what you can make with it. But I think that the better correlation for day trading is like a college education, because you have to you have to pay market tuition when you're an early trader, no matter what. Like I paid several $1,000s to become a nurse, and it took me 4 years of education before I started getting paid as an RN. And so what should make day trading different than that? You know what I mean? You are doing basically the school of hard knocks. Like you're trading and you're paying for a mentor, or you're doing free mentorship. But you're learning, you're paying a little bit to learn, albeit quite a bit, generally less than what an actual 4-year education would be. But the true expense comes in from the losses. And that's why if you can come at it with the better mindset of like, these losses are lessons, and I want to study how and why I lost and how I can prevent this in the future. And maybe you're going to take that lesson several times before it really cements in your mind. But that is essentially the operating cost of creating a successful, profitable business as an independent trader. Is the first couple of years you're paying your market tuition. And then you get to start, the pendulum will shift and you'll pay less tuition and your profits will start to rise. And then, keep that ball rolling. And by focusing on the lessons every single day, it will shift and change. And that's when you can get the big money, and the tuition fees are essentially negligible.
And I think another part of it too, that I don't think gets enough, we've read about in the books, and I feel like more advanced, traders in the industry talk about this. But I think in learning the beginning, everything's based off risk and the losses, right? But another corner you have to turn eventually to really become profitable is when you have your edge, when you really have dialed things in, it's allowing yourself to really take full advantage, like literally, being able to, make the most out of the opportunities that the market gives us. And so that is something I know for me, it took me so long to break out of just being a break-even trader, because even though I was winning more than I was losing, I wasn't allowing my winners to really pay me. So then on my losing days, everything will kind of just balance out, So
it's like a big jump from,
but again, first you just want to like try to eliminate, your loses and win more than you lose. But the end goal is to be able to identify when you do have, your really sound, solid strategy opportunities, like capitalize on those. And then those will far outweigh any kind of losses that you will, occasionally, incur. So that's like next level.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Last question. If you guys could tell just one thing to a beginner trader, one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say love yourself through the journey, because there's so many ways that we as humans could hate on ourselves for not performing optimally. And I don't know a trader who hasn't cried in their trading experience. And I think that you have to make it sustainable is to hold to who you are and still love yourself through it, because it's like a really hard thing. And it can provide everything for yourself. Like day trading is a real opportunity, but it is not for the faint of heart. And so if you're going to do this thing, like, remember that you're worth it all throughout, even on the hard days, because you are, and you're attempting to do something that almost everyone flunks out of because they hit those really hard moments, and it's easier to go back to safe and stable. But then you are foregoing the big bright future that is achievable if you can just persevere and keep learning and keep working through it and improving. So, I mean, I think for myself in my younger years, and for everyone else who's trying to do this thing, I think love yourself through it would be my biggest.
Yeah, I would say just be very humble in the being willing to like really go deep and be uncomfortable. Like, understand that that's the only way that you're going to grow, is to, be able to survive that and really pick apart, all the pieces and basically build yourself back up. Like be willing to become the person who you're going to have to become to withstand the journey, and be willing to let that person fall apart and then just keep rebuilding. And just know that there's really like that what we're embarking on. It's like, there's never like a top, it's always going to be, okay, I'm up this mountain. All right, great. That view's beautiful. Okay. Now I'm just going back through this valley and I'm going to go. It's like, it's always just going to be, we call it a roller coaster, we call it the peaks and valleys, the ebb and flow. I think that is just something that I wish I would have understood better, but I don't think anyone fully understands it until you go through it. So I would just tell myself, like, get ready for the ride of a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. This advice is so phenomenal because it's like, it's like what you would tell a brand new soul getting ready to come to earth. It's the exact same advice. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, I mean, you didn't say anything about making money or strategy. Like,
the deeper you get into trading, you will realize like there's so many correlations. Like you'll be in traffic and you'll be like, oh, that's kind of like trading. Oh, I can apply this to my trading. Like it all comes together.
Parenting.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. Amanda, I am so impressed by you. I think that you are really showing some serious initiative early in your day trading career. I mean, you're very green, but you're like eyes wide open. You're open to receiving and hearing and learning, and you want to start it like right from the beginning, which I think is going to be really powerful for you. For only bringing in the best content and supportive people, and eyes wide open to what you're going to experience, because I think that will get you through some of the barriers that are inevitable a little bit smoother, a little bit more peacefully. So congratulations and welcome to the club. And please keep in touch, because it'll be interesting to follow your journey from like very green up.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You're the first, trader we've interviewed that's literally at the beginning. So, I mean, you definitely have to come back on through all the stages. Like you're going to have so many different stages. Like, you just started, you're going to have your 6 month, you're going to have your year, you're going to have your year and a half. I mean, and those are big milestones and they affect your psychology. I mean, I still, when it's my year anniversary, I still, get triggered. So, it's exciting for sure. And congratulations again. And keep up the hard work. And keep in touch with us. And we'd love to have you back soon.
Absolutely. I'd love that too. Thank you.
And I feel like she interviewed us. So kudos to you for like pulling some little gems out from our history that like I haven't talked about that in a long time or ever. So I think that there's value in like the way that you approached us too. Cause like it's fun to talk about how we've grown to who we are now, and it has shaped who we are and what we bring to Market Mamas and our trading. So it's been really nice discussing with you.
It already feels like it was so long ago, and it hasn't been, but it's crazy. It literally feels like I'm trying to like take myself back to that time, and it's kind of hard. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you all for watching and supporting our channel. Please head on over to www.market-mamas.com. Find more of our content there as well. And you can always visit our socials in the description below. Thank you again, Amanda, for being on. And we always welcome traders at any stage and phase in their journey. Let's all come on and add value to each other and share our journeys in real time. And our best trading days are ahead. Thank you all for joining. Bye.
Bye.